Hello and welcome to my channel for another try and fly, and as you can see we're going to look at the latest version of the SSG Supercritical Simulation Group, I think 747-8 version 2.1. It's my latest acquisition. I finally decided to use the update or upgrade offer because I have the older, the 1.9 versions, and yeah, since I've been reading about issues and problems with the original release, I kind of held back because I couldn't be bothered spending time on fighting bugs and playing the beta tester. But it looks like things have improved. There have been a couple of in between hot fixes and patches and service packs, or whatever you want to call that. So we're now at version 2.1 and I'm going to give this a go. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the modeling. Which I think is quite good. It also gives a very good impression from afar, but it also looks quite good when looking at it in close up here. Yep. So yeah, I think they did a good job here. That's the other side, cargo doors and so on. I tried to get ground handling from Jar Design to work with this. I downloaded a profile, but nope, doesn't work. Ground handling from Jar is sort of a difficult story. I have a couple of aircraft where this doesn't work, like the 777. Maybe I need to check for another version again. But yeah, this is one of them. Not sure why that is. Probably there's going to be a ground handling set out eventually, which I can then use. But for today, I'm afraid we'll have to live with open doors high up in the air and no stairs. Okay, talking about open doors, let's have a quick look here in the cockpit. That's what it looks like in here. I'm going to go through more details and kind of comparison between the old and the new one. But let's first go and do the following. Go to, where was it, ground services. The GPU is already connected, as you could hear, and we can also see that it is there. So let's quickly activate the battery and then also activate the ground power. And we're going to open all doors. You have this here, on gate doors, service doors. So on gate doors will open doors like you would have on gate. So they only open the first two doors on the left side. But you could also use open all doors, and that would open everything, every hole that this aircraft has. So compared to the IXCG, there is actually an abundance of doors here. Just don't forget to close them all again. So outside modeling, I think, is quite good and definitely better than it was in the older versions, which wasn't bad, but yeah, I think this has definitely improved and is quite an impressive look. You know, these are personal kind of opinions here and taste. So I quite like it. From outside it looks really, really good. Now let's have a look at the cockpit. Unfortunately I don't have a screenshot of the old one ready. I forgot to make one. So I can only talk about the difference. But I have to say that there has been quite a step forward in the quality and the looks of the cockpit. The old one looked very, very plasticky, strange. I didn't really like it very much. There are some mods, so I actually use mods with the old one. Some texture mods and so on, which improve it somewhat. But this definitely goes a long way towards looking realistic. The cockpit here, I really have to say that is quite good. I think big step forward when it comes to the quality of the modeling and the textures. That was one of the, in my view, big flaws of the initial version. Yeah, what's that? Mineral water. It looks more like a toilet cleaner. Anyway, the other thing that we have is this flimsy little something, which is not an EFB or anything like that. In case you were hoping, it just is the options menu that moved from where did it move? I think it was somewhere down here to up here. It looks a bit strange. I wish they would have used this space for an AviTab integration. Unfortunately, they haven't. So not sure if this can be equipped with an AviTab, but unfortunately they did not foresee putting AviTab in here. Yeah, and it is rather small, but it has everything that you need in order to set up your aircraft, similar to what we had before. So this is the ground services with all the doors and the ground power and cargo doors and the whole lot. And you can disengage pushback, which is, I think, a built-in one. I haven't tried it yet. Obviously, I will not be using that. We are going to use BetterPushback, for which there has been an update recently. I just installed. Maybe I should have tested it before, but anyway, we shall see. We can do Try&Fly of BetterPushback as well. Fueling. So, our fuel is sort of not a lot. I think I'm going to vamp it up a bit. So how did that work? I think, here you go. I think you need to set it to what you want it to be. Let's say we take 17 tons and then you say start refueling. And I think this here, what was that? Set predicted. I think that is coming from the FMC. So when you've done your FMC setup, it probably predicts the fuel for the flight, and it might actually show it here. I'm guessing, and then you can press the set predicted, and it would actually put this into the number. I haven't tried that yet. I'm just guessing on what I see. Try&Fly. Yeah, I haven't been reading 3 tons of documentation. I'm winging it a bit. So that's the idea of it. How far do you get without knowing too much about details? So far, it's actually quite self-explanatory. Unfortunately, they have been a little bit stingy with the area where you can click here on these buttons. So you need to find, it's usually in the center here, you need to find that click spot. And talking about click spots and interaction, I had really hoped that they would do what most other payware aircraft meanwhile have, and that is go away from this old style drag and whatever stuff here with the buttons. Unfortunately they haven't. At least we have the mouse wheel stuff, but in some areas it is actually quite difficult to set up your knobs, especially when it comes to knobs. I've been jumping forth and back like mad. Well, I don't know. So at least for things like that, we may partially have different kinds of interactions. Like take this here. If you it's here, it's okay. but I had other knobs already where I was jumping all over the place, trying to hit the right spot. For example, it's here, and look at this. You know what that is? It jumps over from 0 to 359, and then it gets stuck. So I need to go there again and continue pulling it. You know, yeah. I mean, you can use the mouse wheel, but yeah, there are some weird things. Let's and I think that also works like this in the other direction. See, get stuck at 0. That was a bit of surprise here. I thought I'm too stupid to move my mouse. Anyway, the mouse wheel does work on most of these, so it should be no problem. But let's continue here. Payload. Here you can set up your weight. There are some presets. So here, for example, from the load, 25, 50, 75 and 80% and max, and you can choose one of them. So let's, for example, click 25%, and then you can load it up. By the way, I actually like to fly in cargo airplanes. So in the 1.9 version I have the extended package, which also includes cargo. Unfortunately, there is no cargo variant with this one, but I read somewhere that it basically will be provided, and it will be free of cost for me when they bring it out. Let's hope that that's true and not a myth, because I would really like to have cargo, and I'm not really that overly keen to pay again then for a cargo version of this aircraft, since I consider it a much needed update. And okay, I mean, they need money, I can understand that, but yeah, I would like to get an upgrade of my initial release, and which is also including a cargo version. So I'm hoping that that is actually going to work out like that. Here's the sound. You can set up your engine voice, your engine sound levels here. Engine inside, I've got this up because you hardly hear the engines here. And then outside it is quite loud, obviously, so for outside shots I brought this down a bit. The rest I left more or less as it was. And here are some options. There are not that many. You can switch between kilos and pounds. It seems to forget this option every time I come in. It doesn't seem to persist this, because I have to now switch to real and fast time alignment every time. And also the rain effects, hidden or not hidden. There's lip rain plugin is coded in here. And then to show or hide the yoke, which is not really necessary, because from our angle of view here we can see things quite well. So this is not one of these aircraft where the steering column covers everything important and you need to get rid of it in order to fly the aircraft. There's a reset checklist, and again you need to kind of find that little tony wee click spot. Checklists are down here. So at the moment we are here. We have and again, you know, you have to find that click spot, and it looks like it is shifted. That may be because of my viewing angle. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So make sure that you are on the center display before you make changes, because you want that display to be manipulated, and then click on checklist, and you're going to see the Boeing typical electronic checklists coming up here. And if you want to work with the checklist, this is the select button. You can actually program a button. So on your yoke or a key to easily tick off checklist items. And if you want to reset the checklist because you want to start again, then you can do this here. And that's about it. So let's quickly connect the ground power. Oh no, hang on, that was connected. Discon means disconnect. I didn't see that. And let's activate the ground power up here. So there seems to be only external power 1 available. There doesn't seem to be an external power 2. Yeah, and that's now an example. You can use the mouse wheel. Okay, but dragging it is can be cumbersome, to say the least. And again, depending on how you look at your switches, it can be quite difficult to actually hit that click spot if you want to use click spots. I guess that's an explained thing, but yeah. Right. Yeah, let's do sort of a very basic setup. So I'm going to turn on the nav lights, and I'm going to turn on the lower beacon. Lower beacon is just on the belly of the aircraft, and that's the one that people can see when you're walking around the aircraft, because we want them to be aware that we are activating systems here. Not that I can see that beacon though. Let's see. Ah, there it is. So that's the beacon has started. Because when you are in front of the aircraft, you wouldn't be able to see the upper one, which is at the roof in the middle of the aircraft. Okay. So, yeah, as I say, quite a pleasing design. It's definitely something where you don't, where your first thought isn't, oh my god, couldn't they have done this a little bit better? Could they have not done more crisp textures? Why is everything so wishy-washy? Or and in the other areas it looked really like drawn, like plastic. So I think this is definitely an improvement, a big improvement. I can't remember whether they had these radio units in the old one now, but yeah, they do work. Although, oh, now it works. Yeah, I had a bit of an issue with that because I couldn't switch between these radios when I did my first round of setting up and defining and so on. Seems to work now. You can switch between left and right unit, so that's COM1 and COM2, so to say. Yeah, and then yeah, you can change the frequencies. Let's input that. Okay, because they were off for some reason, and when I tried to activate them, the only thing I could activate was this one, and then it was only the left unit. But I don't know, this time that seems to work fine. So let's see, the transponder is on standby. That's fine. This unit doesn't seem to be active, so this is defect or defunct. I have no idea. But these two are not. Okay. Coming to the mode control panel, or whatever it's called here. It's also looking quite good. And you know, I have GoFlight hardware, so SSG has actually provided commands in the usual, let's say, not very consistent manner, because you have most of the commands but not all of them. But what really got me a little bit worked up is heading doesn't work. So heading up and heading down, the heading down works actually, but heading up doesn't work. So I had to actually go and program my own heading up command in order to be able to get my hardware connected. And And I just realized that it is not working again, because obviously I haven't saved my own command. Or, oh yeah, I think I know what that is. Oh yeah, the explain organizer has actually turned off the script that I've written because it doesn't know about it yet. Okay, so here you can see now the following. It's possible to reduce the heading. It's not possible with my hardware to increase it because the command that they have defined is not working. So to me, these are little things. As a developer, I say, how can they not know that this is in there? And it is so easy to fix. I'm pretty sure it's whatever it is, it's a small little oversight. But yeah, obviously they haven't bothered changing it. Well, there you go. I had to program it, and now I need to just activate the script, but I'm not going to do that now. It's not that important for me that we have hardware for the Try&Fly. By the way, talking about other places and things that are not, you know, what is that? Not only does this look awful, but look at this. What is that? There must be some bleed-through effect. I think it's a bleed-through effect from the outside scenery. And what's really strange is, long time after I have actually stopped moving, it still does this, whatever it is that it does. The other thing that I realize is, and that I'm not really very happy about, is that the frames, they drop drastically. Now I have a pretty good machine, and if I leave the frames free, then I'm usually in around 45-50 frames. I limit it to 40. That's also because of video making and so on. And with this aircraft, I'm down to 30. And I have been down further at times. So I'm moving into the 20 frame area with this aircraft. And that is with best weather. Soon as rain starts and cloud starts, I did try this already, we're down to almost 20, which is definitely a problem for online flying. Because we end up in VATSIM, we end up with in this weird mode. And on VATSIM, you are actually kicked out of the VATSIM servers if your frames go below 20 for an extended time, because your airplane is flying much slower in the ecosystem of VATSIM, and that is a no-no, because for controllers you have become an obstacle, basically. So I can understand that they kick people with low frames out due to this, but yeah. So I can't sustain the full settings when, let me show you my graphics settings. So this is what I usually work in. I tried this already. What I had to do is I had to bring number of world objects down to here and the anti-aliasing down to here. And then that would give me about 27 frames in bad weather, which is okay. That'll do for online flying. Since we're not online flying, I don't mind leaving it now on the high settings in order to see how the frames develop otherwise. Right. What else is there I can tell you? I think apart from that, we're going to have a look at the lighting. Yeah, the lighting. Let me quickly go into the dark. Well, it's not the complete dark. One thing that struck me immediately is that apart from the light that comes from the lamps here at the airport with HDR lighting, it's actually very difficult to get this cockpit dark, because there seem to be an awful lot of lamps on. So, oh yeah, here's an example for a switch where a click would have really been better. because you need to drag that damn thing up and down. There's no other way. You can use your mouse wheel, but it is counter intuitive, because I have to move it forward to bring down the switch. You know, it works, but yeah, it's not the best. So let's turn off everything that there is. Again, from afar, click spots or scroll spots are very difficult. Yeah. So it seems that the lights are on by default, and that you get a lot of lights already showing up. So let's turn everything off that we have, and then you get it dark. Ah yeah, these are combined, are they? Yeah, they are combined. What about that map light? As you see from afar, it's actually very difficult to access these. Okay, here we go. So once you have darkened everything, let me see, is there another light showing here? No. I guess the rest is the light effects from outside. So this is what the dark cockpit looks like. Let's bring the time back to where we were. Yeah, but we can see our, oops. Oh yeah, you need to stop from time to time. So we were in and about, oops, I didn't want to go that far. Okay, while it's bringing back the time, you can see how well done the textures are now. They're really high resolution, and it is quite a difference to the original one, which looked really very washy, and the writing and everything was not really to a standard that could be called nice and beautiful. This one is definitely an improvement. Now let's get to the FMC. The UFMC that's built in here from what they called FJCC, I can't remember now what that name is, but they have a cooperation with the guy who makes UFMC. So this is actually the UFMC catered for use in the 747. It wasn't really the very best in the old version. I'm wondering how much it has improved. I hope it has improved in this version, because in the old version, yeah, there were a lot of issues with it, and some weird things happening also en route. So I wonder what it will look like when we do this here. So here's the ident page. I have actually loaded a not so old ARAC. It's only slightly outdated. I need to go and get the next Navigraph ARAC at some point. Position in it. Yeah. There's actually no second page, so they haven't bothered with all this GPS stuff and so on. So you use that position and you just put it in. And due to the 60 seconds alignment time, which seemed to start when I enter the position and not when I bring the IRSs into nav mode. Well, anyway, Echo Delta Delta Mike. By the way, you can bring this out, but not by clicking on it, at least not in here. You have to define yourself a key, and then you can bring out the FMC. Interesting, there's separate CDUs units here that you can use independently. And apparently there's also a way of defining route 1 or route 1 and route or route 2. So they have definitely improved on that. We are on gate or position 184. You can enter it here, but I don't think it does anything. So, and 60 seconds later, we already get the alignment. So the alignment starts only when you enter the position. Now I may be misinterpreting things, but normally this is the other way around. In the old version, I don't think you do alignment because they were just, it was just aligned, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong though. So define yourself a key to get this FMC brought up. It's F8, I think it was. Was it F8? Yeah, F8 works here. I'm not sure if that is pre-coded by the aircraft or probably not. You probably will have to define that key. Yeah, the speed brake lever unfortunately is in the way here. So yeah, it's somewhat difficult to get a position where you can get to the keys without that speed brake lever obstructing the keys. So yeah, let's store this position. So route, we're flying from EDDM to EDDM. Runway will be 08 left. We know that already. This is test flight 1. We don't use a company route. And now I'm doing what I'm doing with every aircraft. Kini. Ostis. Bamta. And then I go to departure. And I had some issues already with that, but I'm not sure if I made a mistake or not. My first attempt to enter the route got into a real mess. I'm still not sure what happened, but I had waypoints, switching order, and all kinds of funny things, and I seem to have ended up in route 2. I'm not even sure how I did that. That was really weird. And then I did it again after I reloaded the aircraft and went exactly that, what you see me doing now, being very precise in the sequence of things, and I think that fixed it. But I'm not sure what I did wrong, or if I did something wrong the first time around. It was a real mess. And yeah, and that's it. You don't see any SIDs. I think it already starts again the weird way. So let's click 08 left. Here it comes. Then I select Anchor 9 Quebec, transition anchor, and then I use execute every time in order to make sure, and then I check the legs. Okay, so that's fine. So I go back here, then I use arrival, and now I'm trying to remember what I did. I think I first selected the arrival, which is Bamta for Alpha, transition Bamta. Then I selected ILS 08, and then I couldn't find, Mike. So that's the sequence that does not work. Okay, let's turn this off again and erase. So let's do this again. Let's try another sequence. ILS 08 left. ILS 08 left MIQ. Transition. And then I select Bamta for Alpha. This is definitely different to other aircraft. That's for sure. Transition Bamta. Okay, select. You need to select the transition, I think. And looks like it has got it in now. Now let's see what it made of that. Anchor, Akini, Ostis, Bamta, Rosap, Bingu. Yeah, that looks pretty good, apart from the discontinuity, which we're going to hopefully close by doing the usual Boeing thing and executing it. Right, that looks okay. That looks okay. Now let's go into plan mode and look at this strange thing here. This looks odd. This looks strange. Okay, let's do the step thing. Step, step. See if that makes sense, what we see. Step, step, anchor, yep, then Akini, then Ostis, then Bamta. Here's the dangerous Bamta corner. Rose up, Bingo, Tusto, Landu, Mike. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, that seems to be the missed approach. Route, that looks a little bit weird here. Yeah, okay, so I think we're fine. Looks okay. That should hopefully do it. Again, we have this bleed-through effect here. So, so that's the route. Let's activate this. And let's move on to performance init. Now, they already put in the weight and the center of gravity, 16.7. Strange. But I'm not going to try this out. We're just going to take it as it is. You have to confirm it, I think, here. So zero fuel weight is 227. We're going to have 4 tons of reserve. Oh yeah, you need to actually enter it as 04. That is, you can tell me what you want. I'm pretty sure that other CDUs allow you to enter 4 and interpret it as 04. This one, but that's, I think, I remember this from UFMC from before. Then the 200 as a flight level. Yep, the cost index 35. Yeah, cruise, center of gravity. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that it won't calculate this. There is no second page or anything like that. So it is limited in a way. It's not offering all the possibilities. It just concentrates on the bare minimum that you need in order to get this aircraft going. Thrust limits, so we have 12 degrees outside. We are going to do, let's say, 35. Let's see where that ends up. Let's try 45. 100.5, okay. That looks a bit... so let's put in 12 and use the derated takeoff 1 with 95.5. Let's see where we end up. I hope we don't overshoot. I'm winging it here. Okay, so flaps. Yeah, the flaps. So I would guess that we take flaps 10 for takeoff. Trim is 5.8. We need to then find out where and how to do this. I guess it's going to be the flight control page. You see what I mean? From this angle, it is actually very difficult. Yeah, stabilizer trim 7.5. Yeah, we can already change this. I'm not even sure that we have hydraulic power. Oh, yeah, I did the auto, and that went very, very quick. I'm not sure that the stabilizer trim would move that quickly. Maybe it's just a display. Could be. Right, our V2 is 149. So I can put this in. Alright. And our heading is... Oh yeah, I can't do this here. So I need to find that particular click spot. And then use the mouse wheel to put this on 080. And to see what the problem with the mouse wheel is, exactly that. is better than the drag stuff, but it's you have to be careful, because from time to time, if you see, because the areas where the click spots are not that big, and if you move a little bit while you're turning the mouse wheel, you end up outside it, and then whoop, yeah, you're all over the place. There are better ways of doing this, but it's okay. It's not bad, but it's yeah, I wish we would have it like in other aircraft, like flight factor, for example. I think we are through. Let's see. So that was a thrust limit. Yeah, so let's see the progress page. It calculates a flight time of roughly 30 minutes. We are going to end up with 12.4 tons of our 16.4 tons that we have at the moment. Yeah, MCP speed is 149, level at 19 or above. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so that's the progress page. What's that? That's wind. We do not have much wind. Yeah. So there's the fixed page. We could actually see. /10. And then let's see if we actually do get a 10-degree cycle on the map. Yes, we do. So that works. Very nice. Oh yeah, and there's another thing. If you bring down the zoom, you actually get an airport layout. Now, it's a nice idea. It's great. It's just very limited in use, because you have nothing here. There are no taxiways, positions. Like in the real aircraft, you get a full-blown map. Okay, so it's a nice feature. The old one had it too. It's fine. It gives you, let's say, an indication of roughly where you are at the airport, but it will not do anything for exacting. For having exact stuff, you would probably need to have the airport navigator plug in, and I just realized that I haven't turned the airport navigator on in Try&Fly. So if you have the airport navigator, it's a freeware, and you have some keys defined, you can actually bring up a map that is a bit more informative than this. But it's a nice feature. I think they're the only ones where you get this kind of display. So that's that. Yeah. Okay. Right. What else do we need to do? I pulled a C-list file from somewhere, but unfortunately it's neither automatic. And yeah, it's by the way, this is the other way of having C-list files, X-checklist. So you can do it as the UI, or you can do it as the widget, as they call that, the shine-through widget. The problem with the shine-through widget is that it's hard to read. And this one can actually be externalized. It can be brought out as a window. Yeah, so that checklist is okay, but it's not that helpful. Yeah, eventually when I have some time, I will probably go through this and create my own again with automatic checklist items as far as possible. If I can find the data refs for it, then I usually automize my checklists. But it's a starting point. If you know nothing about Boeings, you could use that. Right. I guess that's it. We have set up the FMC. We have set up the aircraft. Now, what you can or could do is now that you press every button here and turn everything on. And in fact, it usually is already, as you can see. So I'm going to turn on the fuel pumps. And oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Why? I mean, you've seen me dragging it to the right, and the flippin' thing went to the yeah. Oh, the APU is on already. When did that happen? I thought I had it on cold and dark. APU is running. Okay. So it would just turn it off if you're not careful. But if it's running, I still can't see the generator, so there is definitely something fishy here. Let me go to the electric page. And let's see if we can figure out where the APU is supposed to feed into this. Oh, did I press fuel? Hang on. This is the fuel page. I thought I pressed electric. Anyway, that's electric. Okay. APU. So we still have external power. We do not have APU, although it says APU is running. So what happens if I turn this off? We lost all power, right? So that is definitely already something fishy here. Okay, I'm going to turn the APU off and wait that the... Okay, so APU is apparently has immediately lost all its power. Yeah, then let's go to the stats page. So APU is off, right? Now let's this is a real pain. Anyway, let's see if that APU decides to fire up. It doesn't look like it, does it? Have we broken it already? See, this is... now it's coming. It took a moment. And it's one of these instantaneous APUs that take 3 seconds, 5 seconds to be up. That's not like that in the real world. It's a kind of turbine engine. It needs time to spool up, and it's definitely not coming. Uh-oh. I'm not sure, but that doesn't look good, right? I think you would agree. We probably have a broken APU. Yes, we apparently have a broken APU. And I have a broken switch that that doesn't allow me to bring up the APU. So here we got our first issue. I can't get the flippin' APU to work. Fantastic. And already things are taking the wrong turn. So I'm now going to try and turn it off. Totally counterintuitive way of using this switch. So that's one of these examples that I was talking about that drive me mad. Things like that drive me mad because I need to... And now I can't get it into start. I can only turn it on or flippin' off. That's going to be a problem. This Try&Fly might be over quicker than you think, because to be honest, I'm getting already these are things that I really hate, because they don't make sense, and you cannot tell me that I made something wrong here. Okay, that a click spot is stupidly defined is one thing, that I can't get the APU started because, yeah, due to whatever reason. Let's turn this off and see if that makes a difference. This is not true, is it? Ugh. No, that can't be true. No, now we're waiting now. Let's see. Okay, here comes the instantaneous APU again. Yeah, this time it looks like it's taking a bit longer. Yeah, still it is a bit too fast, but 100%, right? So let me see. Okay. Oh yeah, we can hear air flowing. Right, so let's go to ground services and let's close all doors and get rid of the... By the way, you can individually open them by clicking on them. And let's get rid of the external power unit, which has now disappeared. I could actually use both generators. Don't know, yeah. Okay, I think we are ready to go to start the engine. We are down to 26 frames, by the way. Now let's call BetterPushback.
Bodenanbrücke, bitte zeigen Sie mir zuerst, wo Sie hinwollen.
Yeah, that is... hang on. Oh no, do that again.
Bodenanbrücke, bitte zeigen Sie mir zuerst, wo Sie hinwollen.
Yeah, I want on the red line here. Okay.
Bodenanbrücke, der Schlepper bringt sich in Position.
So, this is the latest version of BetterPushback, which has just been updated recently. Yeah, outside we're down to 30 frames. Inside we're down to 25 frames on my machine.
Bodenanbrücke, alle Türen und Luken sind verschlossen. Wir sind bereit, den Schlepper zu verbinden.
So imagine there's rain or clouds. This is down to under 20, which is not good for online flying. So he's lifting us up now.
Schlepper ist verbunden, der Bypasspin ist gesetzt. Bitte lösen Sie die Parkbremse.
Tja, we're going to do that.
Wir beginnen mit dem Pushback. Die Triebwerke sind frei zum Anlassen.
Okay, let's see how automatic that is. I'm going to start actually 2 engines, and I think I need to go and also activate these here. At least in other 747s there would be a light on while the starter is engaging, but we can see engines are coming up quite quickly, apparently. I have toned down the volume of the engines. Yeah, it's still spooling up. Start a cutout. Alright. Then I'm not sure if that's the right sequence. Maybe we have to do it the other way around. But I know that you can start two engines together. Alright, flaps. I have an axis defined. Okay, so if you have an axis, you can't use the buttons or the keys. That means I need to then get it into the right detent, which is a bit difficult if you have a normal joystick axis. I might change that actually and deprogram the axis. I did define a reverse. Let me see. Yeah, it works. So I'm going to show you quickly what that looks like. Then you can maybe take a screenshot. Hang on, wrong one. But you need to test this. Actually, there's no point showing you because the values differ from joystick to joystick. But you need to set up a reverse in your axis. That can be done, but as I say, that depends very much on your joystick, and you need to have some kind of detent so that you wouldn't accidentally go into the reverse angle. So it's probably no point showing you how I did that. All right, then. Okay, auto brake RTO.
Der Push-Vorgang ist abgeschlossen. Bitte setzen Sie die Parkbremse.
Flight directors. These switches you need to drag instead of click. Oh, parking brake.
Schlepper wird getrennt. Einen kleinen Moment bitte.
Interestingly, the pedals moved. Not sure if that's like that in the real aircraft when you set the park brake. So here's the engines. Second engine page.
Der Schlepper wurde entfernt, der Bypasspin ist gezogen, Freizeichen gibt's von der linken Seite. Einen angenehmen Flug. Tschüss.
Okay. Yeah, we are about 26 at the moment. There goes the tuck, and I'm going to very quickly run through the before taxi procedure. Yeah. This one is a little bit the toggle. Yeah. This is a bit less intuitive because you need to turn it on or off. Okay, let's see. APU selector. Yeah, we need to turn off the APU. Now we really want it off. I clicked on it, you know, and then it does this. Then we need to get these all into the auto position. We need to get these into the auto position. They are all in auto. Everything is on here. Then we turn off the APU stuff. This is all Selected, isolation valves and so on, hydraulic demand pumps, auto, yeah. Anti-ice switch we don't require, packs are on. Flaps set for takeoff, flight controls check, blank lower, MFD check, transponder on, recall, check for message, update, taxi briefing. So we do not have any messages here, so if I click here, everything is empty, which is fine. Taxi light on. That's this here. And parking brake off, and that is the before taxi procedure. Okay, so that was the first part. I usually now try and split these up because otherwise it's quite long, and then I can actually run the second part as a premiere. Yeah, that's I guess that's the best way, instead of having an hour and a half to 2 hours of a large video, because usually people probably find the first part not that interesting because there's not much action. For people who want to know more about the aircraft, that usually gives a lot of indications of how things are. But yeah, for the actual flying, this is going to happen in the second part. Okay, then I'll see you hopefully in part 2. Bye bye.